welcome to Cook for Your Life. I'm your host, Patty. Are you one of the millions out there who suffer from a variety of symptoms like cold sores, skin irritations, earaches, chronic sinus infections, gastrointestinal distress, runny nose, phlegm at the back of your throat? And are you one of the millions who think that that's normal and it's just part of who you are? Well, I'm here to tell you that is not normal. That is your body's way of communicating with you and saying, I don't like what you are feeding me. So I was one of you. I had a multitude of chronic inflammatory symptoms that would not go away. Canker sores, ear infections, chronic tonsillitis, sinus infections, phlegm at the back of my throat. And as I ignored those symptoms, over time, they progressed, evolved, and morphed into full-blown Crohn's disease, an autoimmune disorder. I was very sick, taking nasty drugs, in and out of hospital, and yet still the inflammation was not being controlled. So ultimately, through the way of modern medicine, they cut me open and they removed half my gut because it was so diseased. And yet still, despite those measures, I remained unwell and debilitated until I figured out I needed to change what I was putting in my mouth in order to reclaim my health. On my journey to wellness, I discovered the most important piece of information that I'm going to share with you today, and that is we are what we eat, period. Everything we put in our mouths reflects in our overall health and well-being. It was Hippocrates who said, let food be thy medicine. So the fact that there's an undeniable and strong link between health and nutrition is not a new one. I firmly believe that many of the illnesses we see today can be prevented, resolved, or at the very least improved through holistic and natural nutrition. I am here today and excited to share this information with you. I want to show you that eating clean and healthy doesn't have to be complicated, boring, or tasteless. I also want to empower you to take control of your health through simple approaches and changes to your diet. My approach to clean eating is a combination of a variety of resources I've discovered over the years. One of my favorites, The Swiss Secret to Optimal Health by Dr. Rao. Clean Gut by Dr. Younger, Dr. Joshi's Holistic Detox. I also love Dr. Mercola online at mercola.com, and even Clean Eating Magazine is a good resource. So in a nutshell, my approach to clean eating is eat organic whenever possible, avoid all processed and refined foods, eliminate all cow dairy except for plain organic yogurt. Limit your grains because we know that grains trigger inflammation in the body. And also you want to eliminate all refined sugars. Sounds complex? It's really not. Let me show you how. So today we're going to be making something very basic. It's turkey stuffed peppers. It's simple, it's easy, it's nutritious, and it's delicious. I'm going to be starting with finely diced onion and celery. So I've got 1 onion in there and 3 stalks of celery. I've got ground turkey, and we are going to start cooking right now. So I'm going to start by cooking up the onions and celery with the turkey. So in my pan, I've got some coconut oil. Coconut oil is an excellent choice for high heat cooking. It does not break down when it heats up, which is a good thing. It's a medium chain triglyceride, so the body uses that oil very readily, and it's just a good choice for all kinds of high heat cooking. So I'm going to put my onions and celery into the pan and start that cooking process. To that, I'm going to add, it's about maybe 1.5 pounds of ground turkey. You don't have to choose turkey. You could use chicken if you wanted, but something lean. And I'm just going to break that up inside the pot into very small pieces, get some nice even heat going, and allow that to cook for 5 to 6 minutes. So this has been browning now for about 6 to 7 minutes. The vegetables are starting to soften up and the turkey is cooking nicely. So I'm going to add a few ingredients to it at this point to help bring it together and make it a little bit more saucy. I do believe ground thyme goes very, very well with turkey. Any kind of thyme and turkey just to me is a divine combination. So I'm just going to sprinkle some thyme in there. No measurements, whatever you think is good. I'm going to add some salt. Once again, you always want to choose a sea salt over a processed and refined salt. Okay, so a good sprinkling of, I'm using Himalayan pink sea salt. I'm also going to sprinkle in a little bit of dry garlic. You can use fresh garlic, minced garlic, whatever you've got in your fridge. So let's stir that together, helping those flavors meld. Now to this I'm going to add a splash of chicken stock. Maybe half a cup, quarter cup. I might need more later. I'm going to judge that as we go. The other thing I'm going to add is tomato paste. If you don't have something like this, it's really handy to keep a tube of tomato paste in your fridge instead of opening up a whole can and not having a full use for it. So into the pot, I'm going to squeeze about 3 to 4 tablespoons. 1, 2, 3, and 4. If you want it more tomatoey, you could always add more, extra. Tomato sauce could also work here too. I'm just trying to pull this together, give it a little bit of thickness. So this is looking beautiful and smelling wonderful. So we just want to give all of those flavors a chance to simmer, concentrate, and permeate the dish. So just before I let this simmer, I'm going to add one more ingredient, a magic ingredient, goat feta. So although we avoid cow dairy, goat dairy is much easier to digest, easy on the gastrointestinal system, and lots of good nutrition in here. So I'm going to take a block of goat feta and I'm just going to break it up in here. I'm not sure how much you want. It depends on how much you like feta. I'm probably going to do about 1/3 of a cup, I think it could be. So I'm going to break that up in there. Goat feta has a really nice kind of salty flavor as well, a little bit of a tang. So it's going to add some really nice flavor to this dish. All right, so this is looking good. I'm going to put the lid on, let it simmer 3 to 4 minutes, let all those flavors come together, and then we'll go move on to our next step. So this has been simmering now for about 5 minutes, and it's looking, I think, just about right. We've got a little bit of sauciness to this mixture, but it's not really liquidy. It's fairly thick because I'm going to spoon this into the peppers. So I think we're looking very good right now. Today I'm using celery and onions, but you know what? If that's not your combination or something that you think goes well with turkey, you can substitute any kind of vegetable you want in here. Zucchini, carrots, anything. You know, chopped spinach would even work in here, and that might be a nice addition. So whatever you think works for you, it's versatile. Okay, so I've got my turkey mixture off the stove. It smells wonderful. And what I've done here is I have taken peppers. I've cut off the bottom of them just so they sit flat in the pan. I've just shaved off the top, taken out the core, so that I've got this beautiful little hollowed out bowl for the turkey mixture. I'm using orange and yellow today, but once again, green or red will also work. Quite festive if you use green or red. So all I'm going to do now is take that turkey mixture, spoon it in to the peppers, fill it up to the top, and put it into my roasting pan. The colors are so pretty and vibrant. We've got a little bit of the green of the celery in the mixture. And if you had, you know, the green of zucchini in here or some spinach, that would also add a beautiful touch of color into the turkey mixture. That in there, and I will fill up my last one. So this mixture could probably fill 4 to 5 peppers, depending on how big they are. Now I do have some extra, so it's not going to go to waste. I will save that for when I serve. Alright, so those look pretty good. So I've got these 4 little stuffed peppers now, ready for the oven. I have preheated my oven to 350 degrees. I'm going to add a touch of liquid to the bottom of this to help those peppers cook evenly, because I want them to cook within about 30 minutes. So if I add a little bit of liquid to the bottom of this, it will help sort of steam in the pan when I put the lid on, allowing those peppers to cook evenly and thoroughly. Alright, so just a thin layer of chicken stock. If you didn't have some chicken stock, you could just add some water to the bottom of the pan. That's fine too. I'm going to add the lid, and this is going in the oven. So these have been cooking for about 30 minutes. They are looking delicious. So I've taken them out of the oven now. So they were cooked covered for 30 minutes at 350. But now I want to just add a little extra kick. I have got some grated goat Gouda here. So we talked a little bit earlier about cow dairy and how goat cheese is actually much easier to digest, much easier on our systems. So I'm going to top these with a little bit of delicious grated goat Gouda. And then I'm going to throw them back in the oven for another 2 to 3 minutes on broil, just to melt that cheese and provide a nice crusty topping. So I'm going to put these back under the broiler for that 2 to 3 minutes. And get that cheese nice and melted. So I've got these out of the oven now, and they look amazing. The cheese has melted. It's got sort of a nice brown crust on the top. The orange and the yellow of the peppers is just vibrant, and it smells wonderful. So now the fun part, we're gonna plate this. So I've steamed up some broccoli while these were in the oven cooking. And you know, any kind of green vegetable would be a nice accompaniment to this. Zucchini, green beans, you know, vegetable of your choice, but just something nice to add to the side. And you know what, just for a little color, just gonna chop just some chives on the top, just to add a little something extra. All right. So we've got this beautiful looking pepper. I'm going to cut into it so you can see what we got. All the juice from the turkey is going to run out. Oh, look at that. The cheese, delicious, delicious, delicious. So let's have a little taste of this. I want a little bit of the cheese. I want a little bit of the pepper and the turkey, celery and onion. That is so good. The feta in there adds this salty tang, but the thyme and the turkey is just a divine combination. That is delicious and would make a nutritious, enjoyable meal for your whole family. I mean, oh, too good. So thank you so much for joining me on my first episode of Cook for Your Life. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you again. And remember, it's important to cook for your life because your life depends on it.